Good morning, everybody. So today we're just finishing off the news report that we should have had a plan for and looked at yesterday. Some of you may have started writing it already. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the type of tone and the way that you should be presenting it, as if you were somebody who was going to this place to talk like a news reporter on TV. So here's how I've started mine. This is my example, and I've put here, think about a good introduction. Think about how somebody starts when you hear a news report on TV, and say what has happened in the first little bit. I've used the word reporter for my reporter line. It is a script, so I'm writing it a bit like a play script, and I'm not using speech marks or anything like that. So I've started here with, "This is James Joy reporting from Little Town in Lancashire, where last night a strange event occurred." I have named the town, and it's a fictional place, but I have put it in Lancashire. I've used my reporter name, James Joy. You can use your reporter name as well. Toads on lily pads were seen floating through the town. Absolute chaos was caused by this strange event, and I'm here right now with Detective Peter Samuels, who is investigating the strange events. So what exactly happened last night, Detective? And from there, I'm leading into my first interview. And here I've led into my first interview. So the detective has said, and I have put detective, and then I have to put some colons after it, just so that I can split it off. If you want to put detective in the margin, this is one of those rare times when I will actually let you write in the margin, if you've got a margin on your piece of paper. Well, currently, we're still working on a number of theories about that. We know that thankfully nobody was hurt in the incident. Reporter: do we know what caused the toads to begin flying? Detective: again, we are still investigating whether it was the lily pads or toads themselves that did the flying. We have a team of scientists moving into the area in the next few hours to look into this further. And you could repeat this sort of tone, this same sort of interview thing, with 4 or 5 different people. We talked before in class about how you could interview the detective, you could interview one of the police officers if you wanted, you could interview the scientists who are looking into it and investigating further, you could interview the old lady, you could interview the man who was eating the sandwich. There's at least 4 or 5 people you could interview and bring in to this conversation. Then finally, things to remember, things that I want you to keep in your mind as you do this. Do write who is speaking in the margin, and use colons before the speech to split it off. Do talk about how you feel, what is happening. So how's this reporter going to feel? They're going to feel that it's amazing. They're going to disbelieve it. It's almost like it's not true. Who would believe anybody who says that toads have been flying in a town? It sounds so fantastic, it can't possibly be true. So you're almost approaching this with a sort of air of disbelief about yourself. And when you find out that this is actually real, and there's actually lily pads all over the floor that have fallen down, how would you react then? Do say what's going to happen next. So I've talked about a big investigation. Maybe we could see what the mayor thinks. Maybe we could see what some local politicians think. Is there going to be a big inquiry? Who's going to lead that? Is it going to be the detectives? Is it going to be scientists? Is it going to be a team of paranormal specialists who you might bring in? And you could interview them as well. When you sign off at the end, think about how they sign off if you're watching, say, BBC News. This is so-and-so reporting for something news, just like they do on TV. So when you, after ending it, that's the line I would use to end it. Okay, good luck with your writing today. Remember, everything that you send back should be a decent bit of writing that indicates that you've been spending a good couple of hours on this piece of work. So make sure that the length is appropriate. If you do want to record something and send back a recording, you can do as well. That's absolutely fine.